Hi, I'm Sally from Perfect Form Physiotherapy, and today we're going to have just a little talk and some demonstrations of some stretches and mobilizers for some of the deep hip flexors. This is a question and request that has come in via some of our dancers and dance schools. So what we're going to be working on is the muscles that run at the front of the hip, sit very deep with the abdominal cavity. We have psoas major and minor, and a friend of it that sits inside the pelvis called iliacus, and together they form iliopsoas. When we're looking at stretching and mobilizing, we don't want to be holding a sustained stretch like we're yanking on elastic. We want to be moving in and out of the stretch nice and slowly to work on the elastic deformation or plasticity of the fascia and the myofascia that sits around the muscle. So this is the tissue we want to be working. Before we get into our stretches, I just want to add that this isn't the cure and be all and end all of everything. And if you do have a tight psoas and iliacus, it's really important to find out why it is that that's overworking so much. So it is important to have a little chat with your physio and get them to check over your technique. We'll have a look at some of the mobilizers now. We're going to be starting in kneeling. This is how I'm going to demonstrate, but they can be done in lunging as well. I'm going to get you to come into split high kneeling, pelvis facing forwards initially. The muscles sit in a spiral pattern. All of the muscles in the body do. None of them are directly linear, and they work in a 3D movement pattern. Therefore, we want to always stretch them in all planes of movement, 3 planes of movement. So we're going to start here with a tilt of the pelvis. You can either drive from the tummy, or if you need to, you can activate the glutes a little bit here as well. We're just looking for a mild sense of stretch. We're not trying to rip tissue off the bone. When we've got this small degree of movement, we're going to just take a small increase in lunge here without losing this. Hold 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, return. Don't come forwards, lose your back control and come into a really big deep lunge. That's not what we're after. It's nice and controlled and isolated. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, pull back. You can add on what we term arm drivers as well. So using the same arm, you can come forwards. We're imagining tapping the wall behind us. So we have a little nudge, return. Nudge, return. Again, watch my back isn't flexing. We might be really bendy as dancers, but we want to keep the spine in a center neutral position as we nudge forwards with the hip. Now we need to work psoas or iliopsoas in more of a 3D vector. So we're going to take the foot out to the side a little bit now. We can still use this same arm driver and we're still coming in a forwards direction. We can then bring the leg in again and we're going to use our arms to drive the muscle in different positions here. So opposite arm this time, tuck, get the tension, and then we're going to just rotate a little bit. Again, don't go mad. This isn't a big dance routine. We're not wanting a huge bend backwards. It's nice and isolated. The ribs and pelvis move together. We're rotating the muscle that way. Now we're going to use the same arm again, and we're going to gently stretch psoas in this direction. So we're rotating the muscle round here. You can also do a variation with your foot a little bit more in turnout here. Again, tuck under and have an arm driver there. So that really is working from your origin and insertion. So as I said, these stretches can be also done in standing. I'm just going to show you a couple of variations. We come in split stance. The back knee will be bent a little bit, and again have a mild tuck under of the pelvis. I want you to imagine that you're being pulled forwards by your navel. Keep the tuck under, and we have a small pulse forwards. Adding our arm drivers, again, we can just take it backwards. Just note how gentle this is. Or alternatively, we can even take it with a reach to the side. You might even want to do a reach on a backwards vector. So I'm going backwards and on the diagonal.
And this actually opens up psoas beautifully. This probably isn't the angle you want to start with. It also brings into play opening up my obliques and my abdominals, which all interconnect down into the body. I hope those are useful as well. So please remember, when we're stretching, we want to be kind and gentle to the body. We don't want to be yanking our tissues. Our body will shorten as a result. These psoas stretches or hip stretches you can actually do before your class and again afterwards. Don't forget, if you've done an hour and a half of dancing where your legs are up high and your hips are very flexed, they will love this release. I hope that's been useful for you.